This is Dee Carter with Get Your Health Right San Antonio. The rest of this month we're focusing on getting rid of diabetes. Listen to what my friend Dr. Joe Wallach has to say.
Right after this, diabetes, the number 3 killer of adults in the United States, causes blindness of all kinds, kidney failure, kidney dialysis, kidney transplant, contributes to the numbers of cardiovascular disease, the number 1 killer of adults in the United States, amputations of toes, feet, and legs for ulcers that won't heal, and gangrene. And most times you really don't have to get an amputation to resolve those problems, but if you insist on getting something amputated, please put a tag on it so they get the right one. You know, if you guys go in for an inguinal surgery operation, you want to get a do not remove sign and put it in the appropriate place. That happens. Okay, now, when your doctor diagnoses a new diabetic patient in his office, he excuses himself, goes into his private office, drops to his knees and gives thanks to the Lord. Then he jumps up and he calls his real estate agent because he knows over 20, 30, 40 years you're going to go through all these problems if you follow the standard treatment or management of diabetes in human medicine. And as a result, over 20, 30, 40 years, your worth to him, $250,000 to $500,000, is like adding another cow to the dairy herd. They know exactly how much you're worth to them as a diabetic. And if you don't think that's true, next time you visit a doctor, ask to see his medical business office journals. You know, they have business journals for doctors, and see what they say about diabetic patients and heart patients and cancer patients and how much on the average. That's why people pick certain specialties, because there's big bucks in that area. Now, to me, this is criminal because in 1957, we learned that we could prevent and cure adult onset diabetes in animals by supplementing with 2 trace minerals, chromium and vanadium. Chromium and vanadium. And 11 years ago, 1985, the medical school up at British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada, came out and said that the trace mineral vanadium alone could replace insulin for adult onset diabetics, who again make up 85% of the diabetic population. Science dog food contains 40 minerals in a complete analysis, always contains lithium, chromium, vanadium, and selenium. Ralston Purina laboratory rat pellets always contains a minimum of 28 minerals, and they always contain lithium, chromium, vanadium, and selenium. And I'll give anybody in this audience a crisp new $100 bill if you can find me a human infant formula that contains more than 12 minerals. None of them contain lithium, chromium, vanadium, and only one, ProSoyB, the one that has 12, has selenium in it. None of the rest do. They have 11, 10, 9, or 8 minerals. That's why they call Similac Similac, because it lacks everything. Now, if I've convinced you that minerals and nutrition are important to preventing disease and adding health and longevity to your life, you have to be responsible for this because your doctor doesn't get 30 seconds worth of clinical nutrition in their medical school. And as a result, this is a blind spot for them. It's something they never consider when a person comes in with a health challenge. They never consider this aspect of the disease. Now, you have to know 3 things about minerals. Number 1, there's 3 types of mineral supplements. There's the original, going back since time immemorial, since the beginning of time. There's elemental or metallic minerals. These are things like limestone, oyster shell, eggshell, seabed minerals, coral calcium, things like clays of various types. Tums is a modern version of it. 8 to 12% availability to animals and people. We're not designed to consume ground up rocks, if you will, to get our minerals. Have you ever wondered why people dread being 50 years old? Why the whole population of the world suddenly falls apart when they hit 50. You know, the teeth get loose, the hair goes, whatever you got left is gray, low back problems, high blood pressure, sugar in your urine, interest in sex goes away. Everybody dreads the big 5-0, right? Well, the reason is our ability to absorb these elemental types of minerals precipitously drops to 3 to 5%. About 3 years ago, a guy in Grand Rapids, Michigan jumps up in the back of the room and says, "Hey, Doc, now I know what I see in my porta potty business." I said, "What do you see in your porta potty business?" He said, "Well, when we clean those things out and disinfect them so we can use them again, we find hundreds and hundreds of vitamin pills that come through people." I said, "Come on now, how do you know they're vitamin pills?" He said, "Well, it's easy. They say Theragram M, 1 a day Centrum and Centrum Silver right on the coating. So next time you're on the pot and you hear plop, plop, clink, clink, it's not poker chips coming through there. It's them pills." Are there any chiropractors in the audience tonight? Any chiropractors? Any chiropractors? Raise your hand so I can see. Well, I can't see any, huh? Okay, well, the reason why I ask that is because chiropractors take spinal x-rays. And when a chiropractor takes a spinal x-ray, guess what he sees? He sees all these pills lined up. And if a person tends to be constipated, those pills lined up like little boxcars waiting to come out. Come on, let me out. Let me out. They want to get through. And a lot of people say to me, Doc, listen, are you kind of fibbing to us a little bit here, pulling our leg? I mean, I've taken 2,000 milligrams of calcium every day for 20 years. I take 1,000 milligram, 2 of those 1,000 milligram tablets every day for 20 years, and I still have insomnia, foot cramps, toe cramps, high blood pressure, bone spurs, heel spurs, arthritis, loose teeth. My neck sounds like a bag full of gravel. And I say, what kind do you take? And they'll say calcium carbonate, calcium gluconate, calcium lactate. And that's the problem. Because out of 1,000 milligram calcium lactate tablet, 86% or 860 milligrams is lactose or milk sugar. Only 14% or 140 milligrams is elemental or metallic calcium. And let's not use these complicated numbers up here for absorption and usability. Let's take 10% of the 140 milligrams. It's an honest number, and also it's easy math. 10% of 140 milligrams is 14 milligrams. So if you take 2 of those 1,000 milligram tablets a day of calcium lactate or calcium carbonate or calcium gluconate, you're not getting 2,000 milligrams of calcium. You're getting 2 times 14 or 28 milligrams. To get enough calcium, to get 2,000 milligrams of usable calcium from a calcium lactate 1,000 milligram tablet, you have to take 30 of those with each meal. You have to take 90 a day. That's almost a full 100 tablet bottle. And at the cheapest, the $5 bucks a bottle, it's $150 a month just for calcium. You got 59 more minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids to go. So this is not an efficient way financially to take in minerals, because you got all these other nutrients to deal with. Plus you got the plop, plop, ding, ding factor, And additionally, you're going to develop another physician-caused disease if they tell you to take this type of calcium. You're going to develop what I call BNF disease. BNF disease stands for belching and farting. If you take in 90 capsules of anything a day, you're going to develop BNF disease. You're going to sound like an elephant out in the woods with a horrible belly problem. And you know you got it when your spouse has to throw a canary in the bathroom to see if it's safe to go in there. Now, during the 60s, the animal industry came up with chelated minerals because no farmer is dumb enough to put $1 in an animal's mouth and have 99 cents come out in the manure. So we learned by adding amino acids and proteins and enzymes, which are proteins that do work, to the elemental mineral, it increases the absorbability from 3 to 5% to 40%. And everybody got excited about this during the 60s. And today, because of this research, you'll see a mixture of elemental minerals and chelated minerals in a good multivitamin mineral supplement, a tablet. But the way that animals and people are designed to consume and absorb minerals is in the colloidal form. Colloidal minerals are 98% available to animals and people, 2.5 times more available than the chelated minerals, 10 times more available than elemental or metallic. They're liquid in form by definition. They cannot be powders and capsules and pills and tablets. They must be liquid. Small particle size. They're 7,000 times smaller than a red blood cell, and they're negatively charged. It's one of the unique things about a colloidal mineral is they are all negatively charged, and as you know, like charges repel. So between being a small particle and they repel each other, they stay in suspension forever as long as you don't let the water evaporate. Now the way it's supposed to be is that animals and human beings are supposed to eat plants, and the plants are supposed to take the elemental minerals out of the soil, convert them to colloidal minerals for their own use, for their own metabolism and biochemistry. We eat the plants, and that's how animals and people are designed to consume and absorb minerals. In the plant form, colloidal minerals. We are not designed to eat ground up rocks. Unfortunately, U.S. Senate Document 264 in 1936 says there's no more minerals left in our farm and rain soils. Unfortunately, in 1992, the Earth Summit in Rio says there's no more minerals left in our farm and rain soils, and plants cannot manufacture minerals. If there's no minerals in the soil, they cannot convert these minerals to colloidal minerals, and they cannot manufacture minerals.
Two of my friends have been able to get rid of their diabetes medications for good just in the last week. You could be next.